Welcome back to Just Crafting Around. Today what we are going to do is we're going to be making some flowers. We are going to be using some fabric. I went and purchased what this is called a fat quarter. So we're going to use this here fabric. We're also going to use some felt. We're going to try making this out of felt. What I have here is I have two different varieties of flowers. I have one where the petal is rounded with a big button in the middle, and I have one where the petals are more pointy, and I'm going to show you how to make both of them. Very, very simple to make. Anybody can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. You need to have thread. You need to have material or felt, and then something that you want to put in the middle. In the middle, what I used here is some bigger buttons. You can use any kind of embellishments. Here I just have something. We're going to hot glue the back of these. The big buttons, you can find this kind of stuff, any craft. If you go into the aisle of Walmart, you can find it. Here we've got some that already look like flowers. If they're stickers, still hot glue the back of them. What I also didn't do in the back, and what you can do, is take a piece of felt, round it, and put it on the back of it as well. You're going to need a hot glue gun. I always use wax paper, especially if you're going to use hot glue or you are going to use any kind of paints or anything like that. Always use wax paper to protect your table. And as always, don't forget the coffee. Okay, let's get started. First of all, when I made these, I didn't know because the instructions didn't tell me. I found the instructions on Pinterest. And how I looked that up was I looked up fabric flowers, and they gave me all kinds of instructions on how to do this. It said to use a round, you're going to cut out round circles, and of course the bigger, the rounder it gets, the bigger your flower is going to be. So I have some different sizes here. I've used the size on both sides of this cup. I've used the size here, which is a little bit bigger with the glass. And then I've used this size right here, which is from the salt shaker. So find whatever you have that's round to where you want to make your flower. Now, if you're going to make a flower, I suggest you don't use anything this small. What you can do is use this as the back to trace on the felt to make the backing for these flowers. For a flower like this that's this small, you can also put a clip on here and use it on a little girl for a hair clip. You can also take it and hot glue it on a headband, and this could also be for a headband. I use two different kinds of actually fabric here. This fabric is a more cotton fabric from the fat quarter. This fabric right here was like from a, it's more like a t-shirt material fabric, which is nice and soft. Okay, let's get started. This is sew, and trust me, I do not sew. If I can do this and I can make these, so can you, because I am not a sewer. I haven't sewed since I was living on the farm with my parents, where my mom sewed absolutely everything, socks, hankies, everything. Then when I got a little bit older, of course, I had to take over that job, and I didn't like it. So what you need to do is we're going to trace 6 petals. 6 round circles is what we're going to trace out of this. So we're going to need 6 round circles, and I am going to use the bigger side. What we're doing is we're going to make this right here. So put your glass down, and I'm just using just a plain pen. If you have something else, a lot of people that sew have other things that they can use, which is just fine. I try to get them as close to each other as possible so that you don't use a lot of fabric that you wouldn't need to. Now we've got our second one. Would be best if you take this fabric, unroll it, and actually iron it first so you don't have the creases and the wrinkles in it, but this will work as well. Got my third one out of here. Going to try to get going to try to get at least 5, and I think I can do this out of here. I would have pushed them together. I probably could have gotten the 6, but for right now, I'm going to do our circles, and we need 6 of them. When I read the instructions of how to do it, with this one here, it only called for 5. With this one here, it only called for 5. I did 6 right away because I thought I wanted it a little fuller than what it looks like right now. I wanted to have it just a little bit fuller. So I'm gonna do 6. And like I said, you can see while you're going along, if you think you need another one, you can trace and cut out 5 right away. And then you can see, because you can always trace and cut out another one later if you think that 5 is not enough. Okay, we are going to cut out our fabric. And I'm using this fabric. This probably isn't very nice looking fabric that you'd probably use for a flower. When I think of a flower and I think of spring and Mother's Day and things like that, you want to use probably some prettier colors, some bolder colors. This is what I had at home in my sewing kit, which again, I don't sew, but this is what I had at home that I was going to use for something, and I decided I'll just make a flower out of it. So if you go to the store, you can find these fat quarters anywhere at any store. I noticed that Walmart has fat quarters. I noticed, which is good for somebody like me who wants to do just some crafting, but I don't want a lot of fabric. I'm just looking for maybe a piece here or there along the way, so I am happy about that. And they do have lots of pretty fat quarters. And being I'm not a sewer, I'm not sure why they call it a fat quarter. I would have never guessed that. This is also another one that I did happen to make this out of. I thought this fabric was so cute. It's got lots of color to it. It's got little girls on here, little ballerina girls. Kind of reminded me of my granddaughters. And curly hair. Got a granddaughter that's got lots of curly hair. So I couldn't pass up that fabric. I thought that was pretty cute. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our circles that we made, and we're going to cut out each circle. Now, if you want to, you could take the iron, and again, you could iron out your circles or just iron out your whole fabric. But we're going to not do either. We're just going to put them together, and it'll work out just as well. This is the most consuming part of making the flower. The rest of it goes actually pretty fast after that. And again, you don't have to be a big sewer. You could do this first time ever. Like I said, this is the first time I've picked up a needle and thread in a long time. Nowadays, when you hem something, they do have some stuff out there that you can use that's just iron. So again, I really don't have much use for a needle and thread unless I'm patching something, which I rarely do. I remember socks, saving socks back in my day. My mom used to, that was Saturday, it was iron, everything from soup to nuts, and you sewed everything from soup to nuts. Nothing went to waste. Nowadays, I can't imagine sewing socks anymore. And the way I sewed the socks, it actually had to hurt my dad's foot, because it would bunch up and I really didn't care. Now, when it came to my socks, of course, I paid a little bit more attention when I had to sew those. Okay, in no time at all, we've got 4 of these done. What's also nice is when you go to purchase fabric, a lot of times what they'll have is they'll have colors of fabric that match each other. Like you could pick out a gray with this, you could pick out the teal color that's in this. It's going to be a different design, but what's kind of cool about that is the colors will match, and you can make, they're kind of like alike, and you can make as many flowers as you want that'll have the same colors in there but will be different patterns. I think that's pretty cool as well. We're just about to our last one here. And like I said, this is fairly simple. This isn't rocket science, which is a good thing. And we are done with that.
Sign up for HD or DVR from Valley this month and receive 2 months free and free installation. Call us today at 437-2615. You don't want to miss out on this offer.
And now we have round circles. What you need to do is take some thread, and I make it so it's a little bit stronger. I double my thread in here. As you can see, I've got double strand. So I double my thread. I've taken it, I've made a knot in the bottom of this. So there's my knot. And now what I'm going to do with this is my fabric. I'm going to take it and I'm going to fold it in the middle. So now it's folded in the middle like this. And now I'm going to take it and I'm going to fold it again. And I'm just going to fold it over. Now it looks like a piece of pizza. That's what it looks like. So now it's folded. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to what I call a whip stitch. I don't know if that's what it's called, line stitch, whip stitch. I am going to start at the end where I've cut it, right here, and I'm going to put in a couple stitches. I'm going to put in more than a couple stitches. I will demonstrate here. And it's continuous. You're going to take the other one and you're going to continue to go around with them. So I'm going to stitch right here at the end. Make sure that when you're done that you're at the end of this one as well. I'm going to bring this through and now go back down and make the stitches wide apart because you're going to pull them. And now I'm going to go over here. So now I've gone through, I'm coming back up with, and I want to do another stitch. I'm going to make that fairly wide. And of course you can play with this. See how the petals and stuff turn out. I'm going to come back through again. And like I said, I want to end up at the end over here. Back down again. And up one more time. I want to end with going down at the end over here. And there we go, we've got one done. Now you see as you start pulling your fabric, this pulls together and it makes a little petal like that. Okay, so now we've got that one done. We are going to now add another one. So again, fold in the middle like this, fold again like this. Because remember what we want to do is we are making little pizzas. Okay, here we go again, taking the same thread with the same petal, and don't worry about it because when if you think you've bunched it too much, you can come back and you can unbundle them a little bit because we're not going to tie this off quite yet. We're not going to tie it off until our last petal is on. So here we go again, come up through this petal, go all the way to the end so that you pull the petal that you just finished along with it. And we are going to continue to stitch. Back up again. And you will continue to do this until you have your petals till you have all 6 of them sewn like that. And here we go again. We're bunching it together to make our second petal. And again, just continue repeating the process. Fold in half and fold again to look like a piece of pizza.
Protect your investment with smart farm monitoring from Valley Telecommunications. Get video surveillance cameras for your home, shop, or barn. Sign up now and receive 5% off of Clear to Their cameras and 1 month free of off-site storage.
Valley Telecommunications, the home team advantage.
Okay, now we've got 6 of these. And what I'm going to do is in the back, to tie it off, is I'm going to take the petals like this, and I'm going to just sew behind it a little bit so that the petals here are going to stay together. So I'm going to take my thread, the last petal here, and I'm just going to sew these two just a little bit together before I tie it off. Pull it tight. And before I did that, I looked to see how tight the petals and stuff were. So it kind of does look like a flower. And again, I'm just going to take my thread, put one more little stitch in there. And then I'm going to put a knot in there so that it holds. You can use a single strand of thread. I use double, and the reason I use double is just because I wanted it a little bit more secure than a single strand of thread. It's also going to be more secure when you add your embellishment to it, because we are going to use hot glue. Now, as you can see, it left a fairly nice sized hole in the middle, so we want to use a little bit of a bigger embellishment on it to cover the hole. You also, like I said before, and I didn't do it with these two, your petals don't have to be perfect because there's no such thing as a perfect flower. And plus, if you have anything that's kind of sticking up, your embellishment that you're going to put over the top of it is going to take care of that for you. Okay, I've got my hot glue gun plugged in. As soon as it's heated up and it's ready to go, we're going to figure out what kind of an embellishment we want to put in here. I've got some different colors of buttons here. The blues probably don't match exactly, but I kind of like this one, or we could go with this one. So we're going to decide which one we want. I'm going to take a little bit of this gray fabric right here. I'm going to make a circle, cut out the circle, and I'm going to hot glue the circle to the back of the fabric. So I'm going to take this and put it back here, and this is a little bit too big, but what I'm going to do is I am going to use it anyway, and I'm just going to make it smaller. I will draw the size, and then I will decide how much smaller I need it to be. Because like I said, it doesn't have to be a very big circle. It just has to be so that it covers it and it gives it a little bit of stability. The button itself will give it some good stability, but it's always good to have a little bit better of a backing. And you're going to want to use the felt if you're going to use it for a hair clip or anything else like that. Okay, push this to the bottom, and that actually is going to work perfect. I'm going to put the hot glue, and when I hot glue, I'm going to put the hot glue around the back right here. Let's test this. It's ready to go. How you can tell if your hot glue gun is ready to go is the glue is going to come out really easily. If it's not quite ready, it's not going to come out as nice and as easily as that. Okay, so we're going to do our felt first. I'm going to hot glue around here. Make sure that you have your flower exactly the way you want it, your petals, because once you hot glue this on and you hot glue the embellishment on, you're done. Okay, so now you can see I have a little bit better stability back here. You can take your flowers and your petals and still go in the inside like this to make them look like a nice petal. But as far as moving them around, you're pretty much so done now. Okay, now I am going to take one of these buttons. Let's see what else I have instead of buttons. I think I'm going to use that button. I like that color. Or you could take anything wild like this. Or nowadays you get these here stick-ons, but this isn't wide enough. I need something bigger. So we're going to use one of these. I think I'm going to use this one. And again, we're just going to hot glue that button on. Place it on here, see if that's what we like. And I do like it. So what we're going to do is we're going to hot glue the edge of the button. I'm going to add some hot glue to that. Take it, we're going to place it in the middle. Then we're going to press it down real good here. And it dries fast, so you don't have a lot of time. And there you go. There's your flower with the pointy petal. Now, for the rounded petals, you do the exact same sewing technique. But what you do when you make the round petals is you don't fold them to make them look like a pizza pie. What you do is you fold it once, and where you've cut the fabric, that's where you'll do the whip stitching. So to make the round petal, you're just going to do the whip stitching, and you're only going to fold it once. Same technique of sewing, same technique of pulling it, same technique of putting it back and putting an embellishment on.
Valley Telecommunications, the home team advantage.
That is it for this show. Come back again and join us for Just Crafting Around. If you would like to be on the show and you would like to show us your talent, please give us a call at 437-2615 and ask for Lisa or Kelly. Thank you.